So Sports FM 101.1, and then you DJ one on the radio station.
Well, I don't know, no support for listening to this radio station. Also, this radio station. No. Hotter, baby, hotter.
Advantage. Now we been say, let thy kingdom come. Now we been say, let thy will be done. Oh, now faith don't begin time so sooner or later we go drop the you know, 1 times 10. I am doing on the bed. Yeah, I'm protected just like Daniel in a lion's den. And it's everything we say. We don't see the savior, we must get people out. Where go show me their color. This time we say sweet salad for water. We dey see people around and I get no more bread and butter. Sometimes we go back for tomorrow, but no one knows tomorrow. I don't know for you, me yesterday better past today. Who knows if not bogus, and me they make not focus. Say the first things first, now we belay. Business then they close. Tax they go high, teacher salary not the same. In fact, money not the flow. Do ya not check for that chick behind the door? Cause the way the thing they go, tell me that's so. You been tell we say you able to but then, but all of a sudden you know the show stand they go. Now we retire with yesterday wahala, but the talent say I'm from tattoo to yawa. I pay na fee good yes, no don't rub so, not see me body so. That's so for what time, let me not take really money anymore. But go buy toy, call a spade. The clock get the question. It's Alex say about that kind of power for where she they eat, you know they eat. Soon the table to turn. Anyone, what kind of power for where she now fire go burn. She say, oh man, for left this thing my boss, but we still see one man where they hide behind the figure. I bet some man don't be one to play asset. Now so them me they sweat where and they show me yo. I think say they get a first and put it in the question. That they feel they deal, they thinking till they deal. Now we can say that thy kingdom come. Now we can say let thy will be done. That lifting up begin time so sooner or later we go drop the bigger bomb. Man, when kind of power for fresh. Now fire go burn. Sometimes we go back for tomorrow, but no one knows tomorrow. I don't know for you, me yesterday better past today. The thing we had to see now so. Not just the moon, we dey pray every day. Making up bad past rebel. Cause the past so we go stab. And we go pull the red polo. Speed but waiting we go wear. Huh? Green polo. The one day where we made it yesterday. Look like them better past. The one day where we put day today. But where all the money we been the kind size alone. From 2001.
All right, folks, we want to welcome you this evening. I'm Alfonso Zayn Salt. This is the Sunday regular edition of Freedom Watch. It's coming your way live here from the New England Bureau. It's 8:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be hosting, and a team of panelists will be joining me here very shortly.
We know say anti-corruption, done the investigation.
And I know people are panicking. Why is he playing music from Sierra Leone? Well, it's in the interest of African solidarity. We're going to be hosting the CEO of the Voice of Sierra Leone Network, VOS, Mr. Tara Wallet, will be here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be having a fascinating conversation. There are a lot of similarity as it relates to Sierra Leone and Liberia. And as a matter of fact, I was in Sierra Leone during the heat of the civil crisis when the NPFL crossed over to water side. So I also have interest there. All right, welcome. I'm Alfonso Zienso.
Now if we no see, we no go listen. Because we no see, we no light. No fasting. I'll listen to the voice of transparency.
All right, that's how we want to welcome our guy. But let's go right inside Mama Liberia to bring into one of the golden voices, always promoting the culture of Liberia. Let me bring her here, and she's gonna be right here. Let's.
Jemma, what are you doing? Get away to a little somewhere. Get away to a little somewhere. Get away to a little somewhere. Middle mass, I little somewhere. Way away. You know, I got one little somewhere. Yeah, yeah, away, little somewhere. Way away.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm on. Give me 2 hours. Well, taking you to Nima County this morning time. Morning hour in Liberia is 8:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome. I'm Alfonso Zienso right here at the Liberia Public Radio New England Bureau. Stay tuned. All right, let's see here. What a beautiful music there from inside Mama Liberia. Right there, Nimma County, that's Princess McCall, Minister McCall, right there with that beautiful contribution. Maybe somebody going to help me to get an interpretation. Wherever you are, we want to welcome you this morning, this evening, depending on your location. As usual, I'm Afonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. My team of analysts standing by. I'm going to be breaking in then shortly. But I'm going to be hosting the CEO of Voice of Sierra Leone, is a major online news cable wire right here in the USA. As you know, Liberia, Sierra Leone, there are a lot of similarity when it comes to what is unfolding, the experience of the civil crisis, the aftermath of the civil crisis, and all of that's unfolding. We say welcome to all of our viewers and listeners inside Liberia. Welcome, my own big brother, Tom. He's watching this early morning hour from Liberia. And of course, Big Joe Robert Davis, a long-time friend from Ghana's very special project school right here in Minnesota. Big Joe, welcome to this network. And all of you beautiful people training down with us here right here on the Liberia Public Radio. Okay, let me see here. Let me just bring in my guy. My guest here is already here. Professor Asese Labot Azaulo is a senior contributor to the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. He's here already, so I'm going to be bringing him. Let me just do a little bit check here. Professor, I'm going to bring you in here. What I'm on here. Let me go to Salon and play you this beautiful music as we will be welcoming our brother as well. All right, that's tutu party right there playing. Let me just let's get this program going here. All right, time is fast spent. Okay, let me just bring in Professor Asese Labot as a senior contributor to the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Professor, I thought I said, is that an Ogar? How can this professor in a different form and share this evening? Good evening, and how was your Sunday, man?
Well, the Sunday was wonderful. A lot of rest. So it was nice.
Okay.
Started the morning with some work in Liberia and, got it done. And so, yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Okay. So, interestingly, LPR, as you know, we always, we believe in diversity. In the first segment here, I'm going to be hosting a friend and brother. I'm a serial follower of the network. That's the Voice of Sierra Leone, VOS. I believe means just how we have professional people that keeps the conversation, real conversation that are confronting or affecting various countries. That's what they always talk about as well. So he's going to be coming here and we agreed to discuss some critical issues. There's a lot of similarity with Sierra Leone and Liberia in terms of the civil crisis, the aftermath of the civil crisis. So I'm hoping to get a sense to pick a hint, someone who closely monitor and see whether what is the difference as well. And of course, as usual, after that, we're going to pivot to our own country open mic. Look, while we wait for our guests to be joining us here, this guy here, it's a worth-giving conversation. Boyman v. Boyman. A lot of the folks that are defecting from the ruling establishment, a lot of things going out there. You had a chance to listen to him?
I listened to him. I've read a lot of the things he's writing out there. Clearly, it appears that he needs help. You know, one of the things you saw.
Why are you talking? What are you talking
You-
about? What sort of psychological help? or what?
Yeah, Mr. So you were there when I ran for the presidency of ULA.
Mm.
That very morning of the elections, I observed things that.
Interestingly, not to interrupt, I didn't know you took heed of that because one of the commissioners that was in during the Baltimore election.
Right. Yeah. Right in my backyard. So, you know, and what I was saying is that look, there were a lot of issues that were unresolved, which my team met and we decided to pull out of the election that morning. I spoke with the eminent counsel of ULA, and they said, look, yeah, we acknowledge some of those concerns you have, but right now, if this thing fail, ULA will fail. So we beg you stay in. And so we stay in. And we participated in elections. You will see that the results came up. It did not favor us. We did several things. One,
was that a reason? Was that a reason you were getting out first and foremost, or what?
I was getting up like how? Well, you know, the reason why I was trying to step out of the elections was because one, we're not allowed to campaign in certain chapters. We're blocked from campaigning in certain chapters, and there were confusion in both North Jersey and South Jersey chapters, which made their delegations to be basically ineligible for the elections. But then those things were not adjudicated, and the whole idea was we stop anybody right now, the whole election will blow apart, and then we will have a problem. The confusion will continue. So basically, bring everything short. We went to elections. We lost. I think you recall. We had some money left in our election coffers, money that we raised.
Yes.
And I took $500 and donated it back to ULA because I felt that money was not.
That was a very strange thing as a commissioner. I saw when you're doing that. Like, what the heck is going on? What is he doing? Very few people does that.
Yeah. And so, but here's the thing. After that, look, I had to do something. So I left. I didn't win. I didn't win, but I still had to stay on the side. I attended the inauguration.
So, Professor, I'm going to interrupt you. We want to welcome. I think he want to be back here. Let me just bring in. Based on your own recommendation and his quest to form part of an intellectual forum. Mr. Antonin Gay is based in PA, Philadelphia. You are in Maryland, Baltimore, right? Or Washington, D.C.?
Maryland, no, not very close to Washington, D.C. In the Charles County area.
Okay, very close. Okay, so you see your proximity. I don't know what are you guys friendship with who on this network that I can't because
definitely we will have that friendship going.
Okay.
Yeah, first of all, he's a senior brother to me, and that's the first and foremost thing. And second thing, first of all, I want to say thank you, Mr. So, and thank you, Professor Zawulu, for the recommendation as well. It's a pleasure and honor to be on here.
Okay. Okay, so guys, let's go ahead. My special guest is standing by back studio, just introducing. So me too, I did in Sierra Leone. Maybe he doesn't know. So I'm a Creole guy too. Sierra Leone, that's the first Civil War. That's where it threw me. So let me just send him back to his own motherland, and we're going to be bringing him on.
Oh my baby.
All my family there, when I push when I welcome, this is LPR, and I'm gonna take them back from Liberia. I want to Sierra Leone, and these bastard Baba close that Liberia to Sierra Leone. They don't point everything. But when I welcome to LPR, we're gonna get started right away.
Let me talk to my fire. I know keep up on you, my baby.
All right, so let's get this going here. Oh man, we used to party in Sierra Leone big time. Those guys came. Welcome to this program. Okay, without much time, our senior contributor, Professor RCC Lagwazawolo, Mr. Anthony Gay, senior contributor of the Liberia Public Radio, and of course, my own brother, Mohammed Torowale, is the CEO of Voice of Salon. Yes, I love that, and I always mention that for people to be follower of that network because of the kind of conversation. My brother, Unakusha, welcome, buddy.
Well, good evening. Good evening. And, it's a privilege to be on this show.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I'm honored to have you here, and part of that is in the interest of African solidarity. And I'm a major follower of your network, and I'm kind of enticed a sort of conversation that is kept on the network. Your host, Mateda Satu, you yourself, and all of that is just quite amazing. So I'm honored to accept our invitation. Let me just give you a few minutes to introduce yourself to my listening audience, and then we're going to get right down to the wire.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mohammed Tarawali. I'm originally from Sierra Leone. Via Ghana. I was in Ghana for some time. But as you guys know, we have connection to Liberia. Most of my family members grew up in Liberia, and I have a lot of Liberian friends. Came over here to the United States in 2001. I've been here since then. But as we all know, Africa is just one big family. So we are all from the same home. And it is a privilege for me to be on the show tonight. And thank you for inviting me again.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to display to the audience, courtesy of Voice of Sierra Leone, some of the things that you guys do as well, like in line with what we do here, so that we see the visual aspect of the sort of conversation. And as a matter of fact, you are the host of this program here. It's not just only politics is being discussed on VOS. They look at a wide range of issues. So I'm going to go to this video here. I'm going to listen to it a little bit, and then we're going to get right down into the conversation. Stay tuned. I'm Alfonso Zane, so I'll be right back.
Okay. Over to you, this baby.
Okay, Fambu Leona do this Khadija Baby Jalo as the brother Mohammed I've been with us over 20 years. So this is opportunity. I mean, it's not a good one, but at the same time, it's great for Lewe Budea for talk to him about this coronavirus we talked about last week. So now we will continue. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to be again.
Thank you very much, Ms. Khadija, and also Ms. Baby, because they know say if you have to make you, and also for people them way they know about salon business, they don't salon in the war and after the war. One of the legends same way most of you talk to they come up when at research, and as somebody who in a well body business like this country, I will say over to you, so maybe you decide to family them.
Crucial me family. This is not a lyrical warrior for your mom Buddha research. When you mama can see Gubu Jama Fangadama, one go you garale that is at company saga. I'm glad to be here today, and I'm from all know me entertainer, but I also find myself my healthcare provider system, which are the two clash today. So I tell them I thank you, VS Television, for bringing me on board. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for the research. And also, I want to turn to Ms. Matilda Cook, who is going to decide to farm model. Over to you, madam.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I say thank you to my guest then. And again, I know someone to share. Okay, let's get to this. Let's get to this here. This is not strange to you, to Mohammed. Just to give our our viewers and listeners a taste of some of the things that you do. We don't just bring people here. We bring people that are going to be more of make sense to our talking point here. Let's get started here. How this whole Voice of Sierra Leone came about? Why you decided to venture in that direction?
I have to say it is because of a legend and somebody who most people don't even know about. my brother-in-law, Mr. Abdul Karim Kagbo. He's an economist in Canada. He focuses housing and stuff, so he works for the federal government. And then he went to Sierra Leone. His dad died during the war. He was killed during the war, so he decided to go back home to do the ceremony. I think he saw something that wasn't, he wasn't happy with what was going on. The discussion wasn't cordial. And then people were out there cussing each other for something that they don't have much ideas about. And what the politicians were selling, it seems like people were buying the wrong product. So he came back and said, okay, I have an idea, but I don't know how to put this idea together. So he talked to me about it. He said, we need to find a network wherein we can bring all Sierra Leonean on the table, bring all our Sierra Leonean brothers so we can sit on the same table and talk about issues, not about our differences alone, but just talk about the issue that's going on in the country. And another thing he talked about is like most people, just like us, what we do, most people do these things because they want attention from politicians. They're not sincere about educating their people. They just want to come here and say stuff so that when somebody got in power, they can give them power. They can bring them closer. So he said,
looking for political reward at the end of the day.
Exactly. So he said, listen, we have here in the United States, we got better jobs, so we don't need any influence from politicians. So we are at a better advantage to go back home and build a network, start from here in the United States and educate ourselves, ask Sierra Leonean to come on board so we can have a real discussion, regardless of our feelings. Let's talk about nation building and things that we can bring Sierra Leoneans together on the same table without any bickering, cussing each other out, but talk about real issues. So that's where we started.
Wow. And so that's where you are right now. How difficult was it to get into it? What did you take into consideration? Reactions of people who want to agree and disagree with you? Liberia and Sierra Leone, like I said, there are a lot of similarities. Politics is a deadly game. Once you're not in their talking point, they antagonize you. They don't see you. You are not one of them. They kind of like push you aside. So, what were the critical things that you took into consideration before even getting involved?
Luckily for both of us, we did communication in school. So, and then he does public speaking as part of his job. So he go out and speak, and people pay. Most white folks pay to watch him speak. So, which was an advantage for me. So he was bringing me along the way, and what he did was he would bring me to the show. He started with the radio first, online radio. He would bring me as a guest, and then I will talk about certain issues. And then at the end of the show, he will ask me to go back and watch listen to the tape, and then critique myself, and then send the stuff back to him.
That's the best way to learn. After you go back to it, see where you slip and stuff like that. Wow,
yes. Because I used to talk so fast, and then I wasn't listening to myself. So he was like, okay, you need to calm down, give yourself time and listen. And then he said, another thing you need to pay attention to, don't come in here and act like you know it all. You don't know it. You are just a moderator. People study these areas. Allow them to take you where the conversation goes. So when you come to the show, all you need to do, people are going to critique you. Be open to criticism. Don't come here and act like you the man, you knows everything. No, you don't. But just listen. You have a plan. Your job here is to listen to people. So that's where we started. So he was the man in charge, but we used to spend days in house and like sleepless nights brainstorming about how we need to bring all people on board, how we need to make Voice of Sierra Leone not just about us, but about Sierra Leoneans, how we can go after political parties, political leaders, and don't be part of the subject. So, and we are still learning, because I'm telling you, every day we come to the show, you can have one or two people they will try to break out and come after you because they love their political parties more than their country. But slowly, we started building confidence in people. We started doing our homework. We started listening to people and then get their feedback, allow them to be part of the network. In fact, most of the presenters you see, they were people we never met before. These are people that used to participate, and then we bring them along with us and teach them. And the same process I went through, we started bring them through the same process. So one of the things I think that made us different from everybody else, we open Voice of Salone to everybody else. We don't have one presenter. We went out and told everybody, if you have talent, you know how to push Sierra Leone forward, come on in and pick up the show. We'll pay the tab. We'll pay the bills. You don't have to pay for nothing. Just come on in, and then we have to go through your product. After a while, you're on your own. So that's what we're doing right now.
Wow. And that is amazing. Believe me, I have followed your network before I even placed that call over to you to have a conversation, because you know, I was very admired what you guys were doing, and I say, you know what, and that's what LPR, the Liberia Public Radio, do. That's what we stand for. We allow people of different political background to come and express their opinions, their view, and we don't always intend to insert ourselves into this conversation. So, and by the way, your hosts, they are very tough. Matilda and the other folks, why when I see them pushing those, what is the reception in terms of government officials, be it the opposition or people back home? What is the reception? What is the feedback are you getting?
We are having most times we do have mixed feedback, because like I said earlier, most people love their political parties more than their country. It is not by design. It is by design, because that's what the politician installed in people for the past 60 years. So it's going to take some time for us to unfold rewind some of these behaviors, for them to start thinking national instead of politically. Some of these politicians, as we know, African politicians are scared to answer questions. They think they are beyond answering questions. They don't want people to confront them. So most times, because of social media, now we do have the privilege now to stand on a higher platform. Before, like 5 or 10 years ago, before we have Facebook Live and all these other things, if you stand there and criticize a politician, what's going to happen? They'll come to your house and intimidate you or beat you. Some people even scared to go to the studio, because, you know, after the show, somebody will be outside to wait for you. So with social media, we do have this advantage where we can reach a vast number of people. At the same time, we are safe. So we try to use this as our advantage and say, okay, you know what? We're gonna hold you guys accountable. We're gonna make sure if you do something right, we are not going to be part of your political parties at all. And we're trying to bring producers and presenters. We got 3 sets of presenters. We got some that belong to political parties, which everybody know they are. We call them the party picking. They are there to talk about their parties. We got a set of people that doesn't belong to political parties. You just come in and speak truth to power. And then we got a mixture of people that will jump in from one party to the other. So we mix these 3 combinations together to get where we go.
Wow. So for a while, we are in same mode that these contributors you see here, we have people that are independent. Mr. George is an independent guy. You have Mr. Anthony Gay, he's ANC, the Alternative National Congress. And of course, Professor Zawlo is a supporter of the ruling establishment. So that's the sort of combination. So I see there are a lot of similarity, and for which I followed your platform, we need to learn from one another so as to build us sort of African solidarity. Okay, let's get to some few things here. Liberia and Sierra Leone, there are a lot of similarity. As a matter of fact, I was saying after the Civil War, from Liberia, I went to Sierra Leone. Our in both water side. When he crazy about the non-cross down Liberia, I came to Sierra Leone, and we don't walk to go here free time. Believe me, you know, before then, free time before going to see family members. And I want you to just express that it will be a view. It's not official comment. You being a son or native of Sierra Leone. The issue of this, Liberia was a little bit different. Actors who brought the Civil War, they were politically rewarded in Liberia. Prince Johnson and all of those people. It did not happen in Sierra Leone, correct?
No. You mean talk about the fighters?
Yeah, those actors, those who brought the. I don't know. Do they have any member of the parliament, people who were actively involved in the civil crisis in Sierra Leone as playing major role?
Well, we do have the RUFP, which is the Revolutionary United Front Party, which is a party that belongs to Foday Sankoh. But they are like a minority. Like you barely hear about them. What we did was more of sensitization programs. We're trying to sensitize people. First, we start with the reconciliation program. Brought everybody out and say, listen, we knew what happened. It wasn't your fault. Some of you, it wasn't your fault. Some it was. But if we keep going back and keep talking about the same issue, we're not going anywhere. So what we need to do right now is reconcile. It's already happened.
The damage is done.
It's gone. We just need to learn from this and move forward. So the former president, so rest in peace, Hamed Tijan-Kaba, asked everybody to come on board. That's the time Foday Sankoh came out from the bushes and joined Hamed Tijan-Kaba for reconciliation. So they brought the RAF out, and then we have this fraction from the NPRC with those schools and the AFRCs and all that. So what they did was ask everybody, if you want political power from your political party, going back to the bushes and ammunition or what, this is not the way forward. So now form your own political party and come over here and talk to your people, tell them what you're going to do different and how you're going to change your lives. So this is how we managed to move forward. I think only few of those people paid the price, but most of them, they forgive them and they move forward.
Depending on the gravity of your involvement,
your crime.
And that was it. Was there like a palaver hot type of like conversations or compromise or understanding by the people of Sierra Leone to say, hey, this is the way we are going? And how did the people, what was the reception? I know it was not that easy, but I know you've been talking a lot and the kind of peace conversation you've been having in your network. I just thought we kind of share this here too with hopefully somebody will listen down the road. How tough was it?
Well, it wasn't too tough when you use religion into it. We know African people are more religious people. When you talk about forgiveness and what God says in terms of forgiveness, most African people tend to listen. So I think that was a very, very strategic point that it was crafty when they used that point. And at that time, our religious council wasn't much into politics. So everybody was listening to political council. When they came out and said, listen, it's the will of God. Whatever happened, let God be the judge. Let it go. That alone fixed a lot of problems for us at that point.
Is there anyone that you know on top of your head that was actively involved, is presently in confinement, whether in Sierra Leone or out of Sierra Leone through the IC or whatever? Do you know?
Yeah, I think a certain guy, just forgot he got released a couple of days ago, but like less than a week ago. He was
incarcerated in Sierra Leone or out of Sierra Leone?
Well, he was out of Sierra Leone, but he was directly involved in the war. So they called him to the ICC and all that. He was indicted for the war. He was in prison. I think most people came out a couple of days ago to the social media and stuff. Well, we forgot about him, to be frank. Nobody was thinking about him. So I don't know how he got hold of somebody's cell phone and made a WhatsApp message and sent the message out there and asked for forgiveness and say he's still languishing in prison. So most young people are like, okay, well, it's more than almost going to 30 years. So it's time to let him go. So recently he was pardoned. I think less than a week ago. He was the only one I knew that was in prison.
So the people of Sierra Leone viewed as a genuine reconciliation to say, you know what, let bygone be bygone. We need to forge ahead for the growth of our country.
It is. Because what the president did at that time, he talked to Sierra Leoneans saying, we can't move forward if we keep talking about this war, if we keep holding back on this issue and try to bring everything on the table as we've been going through this for 11 years. And our war was one of the most brutal wars in Africa. So he was like, for us to move forward, we have to forgive each other. And the people that commit this atrocity, they are not other people. They are our own people. These are people we knew. These are our neighbors. These are our own kids. So we have to just let the Bible be Bible. I don't care how much you sit on this. Sierra Leone is not going to move forward if we keep bringing this stuff back on the table. So if you want a better Sierra Leone for your kids, you have to forgive. You have to forget,
which is a tough thing to do.
It's not easy.
Yeah, people can forgive, but they can't forget. Liberia, Sierra Leone, we have almost pretty close to 250,000 Sierra Leone, approximately 50 to 300,000 people were killed. Is there any sort of war crime conversations in Sierra Leone as we speak, you think? Are they talking about that?
They did. They had the war in the war crime court in Sierra Leone after, like I said, it was like almost 2 years ago. After people did their own time reconciliation, that stuff's behind us. We barely think about that war anymore. We talk about it doing our shows just as a way to remind people that we don't want to go back there. But in terms of moving forward, no.
So that has been quiet.
Yeah, we don't. In fact, even the president now, he was one of the military juntas back in the days. So when he decided to become a civilian and get back into politics, he was welcome. And he came back the first time he lost the election and came back the second time.
Yeah, Marabiota, when they and those guys. That's quite interesting. Let's talk a little bit about the governance style. As far as you know, based on people you have correspondence, you talk to analysts, pundits, and folks. Let's look at your parliament. Do you know how much these guys make in Sierra Leone? Because I follow your program a lot, and that's almost similar to that. Like, oh my goodness, I thought we were the West. How are Sierra Leoneans taking that in?
They're not telling you how much they make. We try to formulate an amount for them, and they always have in front of that question. What they did was recently, as far as last year, they said they were not making enough money, and they asked the parliament to include wardrobe, traveling expenses, vehicles, a lot of things they asked for. Why they were telling Sierra Leoneans that the economy is bad and we need to be patient and all this kind of stuff. So it was a heavy backlash on them. So I think at this point, I will tell you they're not even thinking about that. They might talk about it in parliament, but they're not going to come out here and say anything about that anymore because social media is not playing with them. Wow. But they're making, but we know they're making more than an average civilian. That's for sure.
They're making, oh my goodness. How are they visible when you invite them? When the network viewers are invited, I've seen a lot of members of the parliaments and a lot of professionals, high-profile politicians, and I really like the style how your hosts, including you, push those people, and somebody I will see them doing their hair and they put on their thinking cap to find answers to those questions. Are they media friendly? The politicians,
they can only be media friendly when they need your help in terms of scandal or they want to reach their constituencies. So what we do was they say, if the mountain can't come to you, go to the mountains. So what we do is that we go after them. We send memos, we send letters. If you don't want to come to us, we go on social media and blast you. And we know African politicians. We know their weaknesses. They don't want to
get under their skin and then do it.
Get under the skin. And in fact, sometimes we make up stories they don't like. So they'll get pissed off and want to come clear their names. So that's when they rush up to this network.
Yeah.
So now
they are not doing damage control. They're good at that. Once you don't throw something on them. How is the education, the health system in Sierra Leone?
It is damning. We were just talking about that a couple of days ago. And when the former, when we said the NGC leader, Dr. Yum Keller was on the show. He was even talking about that because he's a member of parliament now. The mortality rate is still high. People can get access to medical service. The ambulance, people are stealing the fuel. You have to pay for services that you're supposed to get for free. So a lot of things that we know that is not working the way it's supposed to work, and Parliament is not doing much about it. So this is the reason why we are still coming after Parliament members and the caucus leaders, committee leaders. The good thing is that we managed to get the camera. We managed to put camera in our Parliament. That was the win for us because the Parliament used to operate behind closed doors. So we find a way to force the hand for us to see what's going on in Parliament, and we have cameras now in there. Thank you to, I would say, a big thank you to the AYV and the 98.1 and others that put camera in the Parliament. So now we can see our parliamentarians from anywhere around the world and know how much they are participating and stuff like that, and we know what's going on there. And we are also demanding for their minutes and everything like that.
Are they coming
on social media?
Are they coming forward with that?
They're not, but we're forcing them. Sometimes we do have some we don't, but we're still trying. We do what we can.
You talk about, you say Parliament. For those who know, our own member of the House of Representatives and Senators side, to my Liberian side follower. I didn't hear you talking about the executive branch of government. That's the president himself, the Excellency President Julio Marad.
Yeah.
How is the executive branch of government? Are they doing their part? Is that everything on the Parliament?
They're doing some good things, and there are a lot of challenges. You know, like what we always say in Creole, word na mod, not to load na aid. It's easy to come out and say things, but in time for you to deliver them, they always start stumbling. In some areas, they are doing a pretty good job. Recently, the 1965 Public Order Act, which was something politicians used to use for a long time. That stuff was in place since 1965. If you, as a media, go after any politician, they will come after you and say you disrespect the president or you disrespect the minister. They will arrest you for it. So he came in and overturned that. So now we have freedom of speech. We didn't have freedom of speech. Like, if a musician sing a song they don't like, they will arrest you for it. If a comedian made a skit they didn't like, they will arrest you for it. If you, as a journalist, say something they don't like, they will come out and say you just disrespect us. They'll come after you for it. So that's one thing I think he did well. The economy is where they're struggling right now. In fact, as much as 2 weeks ago, we don't have enough money in the country. Banks don't have money right now.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. I'm not. People went on holiday, we don't have no money.
Why? What are they saying? Why?
Well, the bank governor came out and said people are keeping the money. But the question is, now they're going to blame everything on the COVID. No matter what happens, it's going to be on the COVID. So he said they were trying to print some money, but because of the COVID, they didn't print enough money. But people came out and showed money that they released to the nation in March with his signature on it. So that wasn't true. The thing is that they were trying to suppress the Leons, and because our Leons is a mess right now. 1,000 Leons to $1. So they're trying to find a way to bring it back up, because what they did, they came in and criticized the previous administration about the economy, and now they came in, they're doing 3 times worse than the previous administration. So they are under heavy pressure right now, and they try to do everything. So what they did, they overreacted on something which most citizens went and took their monies out the bank. So now we don't have much money in the banks anymore.
So it seems to me the citizens no confident, they do not trust government to keep their money, and the money potentially is not circulating with commercial banks, so that people will be able to access. So like, you know what, I gotta keep my own amigos, and I will keep back down there because they are not managing it. Those are, why African countries, why are these problems? We are facing a problem like that.
Well, it is 2 things though. One is because of the confidence, and secondly, the ACC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, was formed by this administration, and because of the guy who, as the leader of the ACC, is a strong member of the SFP party, which is in power. So we are criticizing him because we want somebody independent to be in that position. So now he's trying to show himself out, and we asked the parliament to bring out the Auditor General's report, which came out recently, and the government squandered 178 billion Leons. So now most of the politicians who stole this money, they got the money. How are you going to spend this money? And the only way ACC can come after you is for you to put that money in the bank so they can check how much you make and how much you got in the bank. So most of them went and withdrew most of this money because they don't want the ACC to come after them. So now they got the monies at home.
Wow, this is quite interesting. Are you kidding me? Wow. So just I know I'm not going to keep all of your time here. Just let me know here. Professor Zauro. Professor Zauro, are you there?
I'm here. Did you turn me off?
No,
I'm hearing you.
Okay, yeah. Now I'm getting you now. Yeah, I'm hearing you now.
Yeah.
You hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm following the conversation very closely. It looks like my brother. I hope the Liberian people wouldn't start accusing him of working for the CDC, the ruling party in Liberia. Because what he has cataloged tonight is just the same thing we've been saying in Liberia. He talks about the same argument I've been making is the same argument the Sierra Leoneans are making. The most important thing for a country coming from war like an African country like Sierra Leone and Liberia, is to see how we can take the necessary actions to avoid the things that led us to the war. So there has to be forgiveness, reconciliation, and that's the direction Sierra Leone has taken. You will note that most of our Liberian people use Sierra Leone as a case study, a poster child for WCC, War Crimes Court. Now you're seeing Mr. Tarawale is saying, yeah, that's not the direction that Sierra Leoneans wanted. They wanted to see the necessary actions that would prevent, a recurrence of the war. So there have been forgiveness. Sierra Leoneans came up together and, they helped to facilitate the release of somebody who was being kept in prison for complicity in the war. And that's the same thing we've been saying about Liberia. We need to move forward and forget about those things. Our religion, our African tradition is fulcrum on forgiveness. And so, I like that. Another thing I take from him is the issue about the lack of confidence in the banking sector. That's the same thing we are facing in Liberia. Our citizens don't trust the bank, so they're not putting their money in the bank. Yeah. I agree. There have been some level of impropriety in government. So all of those.
Is that something, Professor? Is that something the narrative, Professor? The narrative of Sierra Leone and the government you support in Liberia too. Is that something that suits your side? Is that a justifiable line now you're going to be taking? Okay, it's happening in Sierra Leone. So why can't it happen in Liberia? Is that a direction you're going to?
Well, then I'll put the blame on Mr. Tarawale because he came here and gave me a lot of support today. So every time he comes to me, I will tell him to go to the Voice of Sierra Leone. he was alluding to those things. No. Actually, on a serious note, not really. But you see, we cannot ignore the fact that, look, our African economy is not strong. And one of the reasons for that, and some of the things I've been saying for years, is the way our economy is developed. We develop on the basis of selling raw material. We do not control the price of those raw materials we sell. So because of the volatility in the price of those raw material, it adversely impacts on our economy. So in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, we need to diversify our economy. Look, Sierra Leone and Liberia belong to the Economic Community of West African States. The Economic Community of West African States has a population that is more than the population of the United States. We have the potential of creating a regional economy that will be almost the size of the United States. So we need to begin to leverage that power. We're going to begin to leverage, those things so that we can be able to help our citizens. I would love to see Sierra Leone engaging in a certain kind of expos that will be able to go all across Africa, all across West Africa, to generate, to be able to generate some income. I would love to see Liberia taking certain aspects, involving itself in certain production that we can sell. We don't even need to sell it to Europe or America. Just to sell it right in West Africa. Our economies are challenged because of the way our countries develop and because of the way we have depended on getting our resources.
Okay, let me hold you, Professor. Let me hold you there. Let me hold you there, Ty, a little bit here. I'm not sure what happened before I go back to my brother there, Mr. Tarawale. Mr. George, are you there? Mr. George. No, you have to unmute yourself.
Are you sure that he got it? Yeah.
All right, Mr. George, are you there? He still gets himself muted. Okay, while he's still struggling with audio, let me go to Mr. Gay. Mr. Gay.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you loud and clear. I believe you listened to our special guest here, and you see the backup plan there, support action plan now being initiated by Professor Zawulo, which seems to favor him because he supports the government that is in. So that's quite good. Do you share Professor Zawulo's view?
First of all, I want to say thank you to the brother, Mr. Tarawale, for coming on the show and sharing his view and, a different perspective the country is taking. Although I'm a little jealous because you guys speak the Creole. I went to the Ivory Coast. I learned how to read and write French, speak the French very fluently. Yeah, so I have an edge too over you if you don't speak French. But
Right now,
other than that, yeah,
right
like
now, that we all talking about, so now let that go there. We're not just be friends right now. Go ahead.
yeah. So I want to say that, you know, the circumstances with Sierra Leone, Liberia is, you know, a sister country. I was even taught about Sierra Leoneans right after high school. I did 1 year of bookkeeping and accounting before I switched career, and I was taught about Sierra Leone, you know, during my bookkeeping and accounting courses. But I can say, you know, they had their circumstances a little bit different than Liberia. Right off the bat, after the war, they held individual accountable. You heard the gentleman speaking about, you know, somebody being held in jail for 30 years, that 3 decades. We didn't have anything like that in Liberia, you know, so it was necessary, you know, when he had an opportunity to send out that mass communication to say, oh, have mercy upon me, forgive me. And yeah, the people saw reason to forgive him. Unlike Liberia, no one was held accountable. On the contrary, we have people were rewarded, you know, becoming lawmakers, and then those same lawmakers today making decisions, you know, putting together a proposition that I, who was born in Liberia, should now, you know, negotiate my birthright on the citizenship, for example. All the restrictions on, thank God, the referendum, I mean, did not go through. So it's a bit, you know, tick for tack here and there, you know. There are some things I have followed Madam Bio since his presidency. I have followed him. He made a compelling presentation on TED, TED. It's a tech website where, you know, business innovators go and make that presentation, and people buy into that presentation and support that presentation. I watched a couple of a TED presentation, and I think it was very fascinating. The gentleman, you know, has some vision, but yeah, there will always be challenges in governing process. It depends what the current government in charge is doing with the challenges. We, in our daily life, we face challenges on a daily basis. It depends how we handle those challenges. There's nobody on the planet Earth who will say they will not face challenges. So for me, I think, yeah, I want to disagree. People need to be held accountable, or even if we go with the restoration, you know, justice in Liberia.
All right. I don't know what's going on. Pa George, are you hearing us? I don't know why you need to. Are you hearing me? No, your mic is muted. Let me just get you out, and you can come back on. Okay, so let me go to my special guest, Mr. Tarawale. I wanted you to get an insight of what I want to. The dual citizen, so I don't do have a dual citizenship, correct?
We used to, and then because of political reasons, okay. Let me take my time to explain a little bit. There was a clause in our constitution about dual citizenship that what they were trying to do is force us diasporas to go home and invest, and then try to slow down the politicians, because what they realized at that point is that most diasporans go home trying to get into political activities. But when they lose elections, what they do, they run back out of the country and come back to diaspora and leave people out there to suffer. So what they did, they put a clause in the constitution saying that if you want to be a member of parliament or a presidential candidate, you have to denounce your adopted country. Only have a Sierra Leonean passport, then you can become a member of parliament or be involved into politics. But you can have a dual citizenship if you want to. Back in the days, we Sierra Leoneans used to go to Britain and back because we were colonized by Britain. You don't need a passport. I mean, you don't need a visa. You can just go in and out. So what they did, they tried to change all this stuff out. But as we know, African politics, they can put the laws in, but the ones who put the law in don't even abide by the rules and regulations. So what happened was Dr. Jim Keller, which is the NGC candidate, they saw him during the election as a threat to the APC party that was in power. So somebody went in and pulled this clause out and said he can run as a member of parliament or a presidential candidate because he has dual citizenship. So they reenact that stuff in parliament. And eventually he went and denounced his US citizenship. What happened was he didn't win the election, he lost. But now most of the members that were in the APC were also diasporans. That's where the money was coming from. So those people turned their backs on them and they were mad because they lose their symbols. APC ended up losing the election. So now we are now working at the diaspora now to get this, to get it back wherein we can have a dual citizenship, and then we the diaspora can be part of our politics back home. So this is why we're working on that.
Wow, that's quite interesting.
Can you ask me a question about other country voting?
If you can't even get a solution, so that's a kind of little country. Did you hear the question?
No, if you can ask it again, please.
Is it? I mean, what's your take on Sierra Leoneans who reside outside of Sierra Leone voting in?
You guys vote?
We don't vote. That's what we're trying to do right now because of this stuff right here. Disenfranchise us. So the only way I can vote for, I need to go into Sierra Leone and vote. That's one. The second thing is, even if we can vote, is it going to be safe? Is it going to be free and fair? Because the government in power run the embassies. So these are questions we're trying to put in place and see how we can go around and fix it for us, because we don't just want to say we want to vote. If I want to vote, I want my vote to be counted and be accounted for. So it's not just about me voting, but I want my vote to be where it's supposed to go. So we are trying to work on those mechanics for us. If we can get them right, then we can push the final envelope in.
Wow. Mr. George, are you hearing us now?
Yeah, I can hear you good. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Okay, I'm not sure what you heard, Mr. Torawarit, and then the redress from Professor Zawulo.
Yeah, Mr. Travel, welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
Let me take up the issue first of war crime. Mr. Travel, I think, clearly stated the leadership started to call on people for reconciliation. That is contrary to Liberia. No leadership, past and present, has taken that initiative. And those that were suspected of perpetrating mayhem on our people, they have not started anything. In fact, what they do, they have become very arrogant and try to insult us. Many of them go on radio. Leaders, rebel leaders, former rebel leaders, go on radio and say, if you know, okay, anybody take me to court. That did not happen in Sierra Leone. I believe from your explanation, it did not happen. But these are the first chunk of the people in Liberia. In the life of Prince Johnson, George Bowler, Ahaji Kurman, these are the key players and other generals in Liberia. In fact, some of them have gone one time to say, look, we will organize a crew defense force, general that participated in the war. The central government had not said anything. In fact, the president came up to say, I did not advocate for war crime code. And at one point he said, do you want development or war crime code? That's the word of the sitting president. And someone was affected indirectly and indirectly. So when the leadership is seeing that, that's a slap into our faces. 250,000 Liberians were killed. None of these people have ever come out to say, you know what happened? We understand what happened. That was war. We did something that we should not have done. But I'm asking for forgiveness. None of them have come up. None of them. So how do you expect us, the ordinary person, to ask you for forgiveness when you are allegedly penetrated this crime against them, and you are not asking for it? But we should go, the advocating for war and economic, we should go to ask you for reconciliation. That is insane. It would be insane on the part of us. And that is why someone in Liberia, we are advocating for the war and economic crime code, because the perpetrator of these crimes have never taken responsibility of what they did, or men that were under their command did to the Liberian people. Okay, so Professor Oki can talk, but how many leaders or the government have taken the initiative to say, look, even in the TRC report, it talk about reconciliation, it talk about parabahod. The past government never did it. This present government have not done it. So where do we stand? Is it because we want peace? So we just allow people that did horrible things to our people for the sake of people, we will just forgive them and not coming out to take full responsibility of their actions. Before I forgive someone, someone must tell me, look, what I did was wrong, I'm sorry. Then I will be in a position to forgive you. But if you are not taking that, you are taking a different posture to tell me, if you think I kill your man or pa, bring the tape or take me to court. What is the message you're sending to us? Or ordinary Liberians? You are telling us or telling ordinary Liberians that is the way to perpetuate yourself to power. When you kill more people, they reward you by giving you power. That is the message you're sending. And that's what they are telling us today in Liberia. So the Sierra Leone scenario is quite different from what is happening in Liberia. Both the government and the rebel leaders have never one day spoken about any reconciliation in Liberia. What do? Should we sit down and continue to beg these people? No. That is why some of us are very, very adamant to them that we will continue this chat, this course until someone can be brought to justice.
Okay.
They don't want to take responsibility. That's what we do. And on the side of the economy, Liberia, we are continuing to say the same thing. The lack of confidence in the banking system, and they all derive from government. People don't trust the government because many times people accuse government officials of stealing. So the system now is in a way that nobody trusts the banking system. And how will the government convince citizenry to come back into that system? It is a task that they are facing. Our economy is cash flow. We don't, Professor said, we don't manufacture anything. We don't export anything right now. So the rubber and diamond or gold, when the price drop, central government suffer it. We need to change the way we're doing things in Africa and Liberia. But again, who will take that role? The leadership have to take that role. We can talk. The policy makers, they won't have to set these things in place. If they are not doing it, we will talk. They will not help the people, but they are in charge.
Okay, let me come in here. Professor, you come in. Let me go back to my guest here. Again, while we are talking here, I invited him here as a media guru who is following the politics and what is happening in the society. So basically, it's about sharing content information here. I don't want anybody living from here. Okay, this is why the guy from Voice of Sierra Leone, he's not speaking for the government, he's not speaking for the opposition. He's speaking as a citizen of Sierra Leone and addressing his views and opinion with respect to what is unfolding. And his network, and I've said it over and over, Voice of Sierra Leone is a Facebook page, YouTube. Subscribe to it. And the reason is because the sort of discipline that is instilled on that network, the caliber of people that they can invite, and that's exactly what we try to do here as much as possible here, to have that sort of civility in the conversation. We can disagree, but agree. But we sit down here, people take their precious time, and I come and start cussing and start doing all sort of things. Does it really help the problem? Am I finding solution to the problem that is ongoing? Will somebody listen to me if I'm even projecting something out there? Well, that's anybody's game. Let me come to you here, Mohammed. It's a tough one because we all went through the crisis, and what is matter now, the aftermath, the aftermath of the crisis. This is what we are all dealing with. How are Sierra Leoneans coping and dealing with this sort of situation? I know finger pointing is still there. The worms, still people kind of recap and picture all of the things that is happening.
When you say finger pointing, you mean on the war or the economy or what?
Well, the economy, the combinations of all of them, and that's the aftermath that people are dealing with. How do they see their government? Let me put it in this form. How do they see their government to be?
Well, it's all start with sensitization. Like I said, when we decided to build Voice of Sierra Leone, the first thing we spent more time on, let me take you guys to the Western world. The reason why you got the BBC, the CNN, the Fox News, the MSNBC, is for them to sensitize their citizens. And they spent billions and billions of dollars behind these networks for them to give the right information out. When you get the right information out, you get the right stuff out. When you put the right information in, you get the right stuff out. You put garbage in, you get garbage out. So what we did was, Voice of Sierra Leone, when we came in, we tried to fight against the propaganda because we know both sides were trying to throw propagandas out. So when they put stuff out, we do the research and come out and sensitize our people. If you see weekly or every 2 weeks, I'll put a video out about a situation that goes on. I'll do about 25 minutes to 30-minute video and post it on the website and explain the process. And so what I'm doing on my own as a CEO, which the founder asked me to do, is sensitize your people. Don't listen to pick up both the discussion from both political parties, and you go in and find the truth and explain it to the layman's term. Don't speak no English. Speak the Creole that the layman can understand.
Okay, that's what I'm coming to now. Unfortunately, this is where we are left in space here. We profess to be smart America. We don't even speak the real English. We don't have any pidgin English like Australians and Australians, Nigeria, and all of these countries. We speak this big English. They don't know the definition of it. Adjective or land up from start to finish, and all of that. And that's the part there, the pidgin English. I know it's widely spoken in Sierra Leone. That for sure. I was there.
Yeah.
You and the management team decided to do that basically because you want to get the message to the bottom line.
Yes, because what happened was when we look at the national TV station, which is SLBC, they speak more of English. We look at the AYV, you look at the radio station, everybody want to show that they can speak English. But the question is, are you even speaking to the right people? Are you talking to your own people? We are not. We are trying to impress people who are not the problem.
Okay, so let's prove this here, Mohammed. Let's prove this here to our viewers that are just coming in, and they will see for themselves.
Talk about very, very serious topic then, Naya. And as you all know, at the beginning of the show, I tell you the COVID-19, when the coronavirus, we all know, Nati is still spread as like a wildfire. We don't do what things then the government and the TI, we the citizens of the TI, we don't restrict them to movements, then we don't deprive yourself for so many things because we want to make this TI go away. Up to this day, I would say kudos for us to we people with the government and salon and we salon people then because as a TI that's still on the one new case when I 8. Even though we know one no single case in the country, but also we will say several things because the way it is spread for when we get 8 and no death, I believe we will not take the good news out of the bad news. The good news is that we not get no death, and 8 number we get, and we believe say pretty soon the number.
Okay, you see, there you go. That's the CEO himself right there. That's the pidgin English because everybody understands what he's saying. That's it's valid. Whether they are doctorate or whatever degree holder, they speak that, and the essence of a communication is to resonate, to get to somebody, inner part. So that's very, very much something. I don't know what I can develop one here or what I can. I don't know what is possible. Okay, I will come to my guys here. Let's talk about this COVID-19 a little bit as far as you are concerned. With your government, health practitioners, agency working in Sierra Leone, how was it come back there? How was it fought again? How did government handle that as far as you are concerned, based on folks and the conversation you keep on your network?
Well, what we did was we have tracking tools back home, but again, they still mismanaged some of the money. The money that was sent, we had some donations that went to the government. Instead of buying, because most of us are in the medical field. I'm a trained nurse, and we got doctors and everybody. These people went and bought SUVs for ministers. To fight the
COVID money.
COVID money, they went and bought brand new SUVs for ministers. We don't know how they're going to use those SUVs to fight the COVID. So, and we don't even have nothing in the hospitals. We don't have no ventilators, nothing in the hospitals. So we came after them. So what we did was the Auditor General Office, we are like, okay, we need to know what they use this money for and how they use the money. So the president was trying to stall the investigation. They didn't want the Auditor General's Office to investigate them.
The president?
Yes, because they knew they squandered the money. They thought nobody, again, with social media, this is a blessing. If we use it rightly, if we use the social media the right way, Africa is going to transform in no time. But we need to be disciplined in how we use our social media. So because of that, we have too much pressure. And like I said, sensitization is the way forward for Africa. When we sensitize, even their own supporters start asking questions. I supported you, yes, but my life is on the line. So tell me how you use my money. So when you got their own supporters turning on them, they didn't have no choice. But let the investigators investigate. And at this point, people are dying, but we don't know what they're dying from. They're giving us numbers. and they say our numbers are low. But we see people on the street dancing every day. Crowd when the president travels and come back, when you see the crowd, but they don't want other people to form crowds. So a lot of things that we are looking into, and we're trying to hold the government's feet on the fire for them to do the right thing for their people. So at this point, we can tell you exactly how the fight is going, because you don't have the right numbers, and we don't have hospitals that are well equipped to give you those tests and stuff like that.
Well, this is critical here. I will be breaking my guys to make the to bring in their point yet. So media, are they going after you for doing that?
Who, us?
Yeah, are they going after the media for going deeper and deeper to get the facts out? And a witch hunt or muscling the media for that? The government.
Yeah, well, you know, they're going to try to make up stories. But like I said, when you sensitize people, the best ammunition you can give your citizens is sensitization. Don't try to accuse nobody. Explain this stuff to them so they can understand the layman term. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what political party you belong to, you are not immune to COVID-19. You are going to die from it if you don't manage it well. And we need to let these politicians know they are not our messiahs. They are just mayors, civil servants. Because we need to bring these people's morale down so that average citizens know these people are not your God. They are there to work for you. When they know that, then we can start seeing changes in Africa. But when we start seeing these people like they're doing us a favor, that's when we got ourselves in deep holes. So our job here is to let everybody know your representatives are not your saviors. So you need to ask them. You need to hold them accountable. Wow. So at this point, it's paying dividend.
Okay, let me bring in the guys here. This is quite fascinating. And I hope, like I said, we'll talk behind the scene for us to coordinate, because the dissemination of information is very crucial. You in it, I am in it. There are people there for different reasons. We are there for putting the right information. I'm not in it for entertainment. That's my profession. That's my career. Those in it for entertainment, they can do theirs. Those in it as a commentators, they can do theirs or whatever to get that attraction. Professor Zawulo.
Yeah.
You listen to my brother, and I know in the long run we'll try to see whether we can collaborate. Some of the analysts will bring them here so we can, kind of do this. What is your reaction from what you hear from Mr. Tarawale?
I think they are doing a wonderful job there, and I think that's a similar job that you are doing here. And so we applaud you guys for doing what you are doing. But I have some questions for him. We are neighbors, so usually the two countries are compared by citizens across the border. The people in Freetown are looking across to Monrovia and saying the grass is greener in Monrovia, and the people in Monrovia are looking across to Freetown and saying the grass is greener in Freetown. But from listening to you, it appears that the government of President Julius Maada Bio is not faring very well. I think he's facing a lot of challenges. On the other hand, there are some people who also will say that the government of President Julius very well. So are you hearing me?
Yeah, we are you. Yeah,
my question to you: what would you consider to be some of the major challenges the government in Sierra Leone is facing? What are some of the things that maybe the citizens are more concerned about that the government may not be doing? To contextualize it, I would take our Liberian situation. President Weah, according to his citizens of Liberia, is more focused on infrastructural development than meeting the personal needs of his citizens. And so because of that, it's a kind of, people believe there's a disconnect. Is that the same situation obtained in Sierra Leone, or?
Well, it is similar, because like every country, the first thing you need to do is people got to eat. So the bread and butter issue is the #1 issue. And in fact, during the election, that's what they campaigned on. They said, "Angry Bokuna Salud," people are hungry. So when they came in with in fact, he brought a lot of bureaucrats, bunch of PhD holders, bunch of professors and lecturers and all these. Most of these people never worked in the public sector before. And then, so now when they come in, reality kicked in. They realize that you can sit out there and say all you want, you can criticize all you want, until you got the task to do the job that you realize it's not the same. So now with social media and the pressure, their backs in the wall. Because he's jumping from one project to another, from another one to this. He's running around trying to get some money, doing whatever he can, and people are still not seeing it because if I don't care how many houses you build for me, if I'm hungry, I'm not seeing those buildings. So he's trying to invest in farming and all this other, all this different stuff. But this stuff takes time. And he went and grabbed this educational program. He wants free education, where he's using 21% of our budget and with no proper planning. So he's trying to battle so many places. He's doing good in some areas, but because of his battling so many fights, you can see, I mean, he's trying to stay above the water.
Wow. Paul George, and then
how Mr. George is listening.
Oh, I'm listening, but there's no comparison, Professor Zawo.
Go ahead.
The Millennium Project, how much Liberia got from the Millennium Project? How much Sierra Leone got? So Liberia got 48 million. How much Sierra Leone got?
You said the areas?
The Millennium Project.
Millennium Corporation Challenge.
The
Millennium Corporation
Liberia got 48 million. Now, how much Sierra Leone got?
I'm not too sure how many they got because, like I said, they're not
400,000 plus. 400,000 plus.
Sierra Leone had more. Sierra Leone got more, but there were several reasons for that.
Okay. Now let me just go what Mr. Traore said. The COVID-19 in Liberia, the Institute of National, NHS, the National Institute of Health, also, director was in charge. He was fired immediately. And the president alleged that there was some mismanagement, and he was going to institute an investigation immediately to prosecute those who was involved. But we're still waiting to see that investigation to come on. It had gone down. Then the parliament, the House of Representatives, they allocated $25 million to feed the people. Today, you can't get any higher explanation what happened to the $25 million. The money that was allocated by Congress, by the national legislature to feed the people, today is still pending. They have called the chairman twice, and he said they still distributing food, but we can't see the food. So there is just similar thing that happening in Liberia. The same thing. Here is the problem. When these people are running, they put a robust plan, promises to the people. Now, when they get the power, the people don't have the patience. President, we are saying in the first, I think, 90 days, we're going to create how many thousand jobs? The Minister of Finance said they were going to lift people out of poverty under 6 million people within X number of years. These are robust plans you're putting forward. Today, they cannot live up to it. Now, those are issues that are confronting the voters today because these people want dividend. The investment they're doing, they don't want 6 years. It's too long. 1 year, if you can't deliver, there's a serious problem. And it is what Liberia today, the leadership is facing. They promise all these things. How do we going to create a job? 90 days, we're going to create X number of times in a job. Today in Liberia, the only area that have been able to create jobs for people is the government. I don't know what a Professor Zawo can tell me how many companies, same person, where came to power, have come in to invest, to create opportunity for ordinary people. I don't know the company names. Maybe he got them, I don't know. But these are issues. These people overpromise. Now, as a politician, you don't overpromise. It's better to honor promise than you deliver. But they come from the opposite side. They overpromise. Now, it's haunting like the leadership in Liberia. So I remember, I think, when Bill took over the education, I think the British government gave them some guarantee that they were going to help to support the education for 10 years. The program when Bill was launching, I think the Honor Secretary of Education was there. That had not happened in Liberia.
Okay, let me hold you, Joy. Let me hold you there. Mohammed, let me ask you. I know there was a lot of international intervention when it came to this COVID, friendly to international government. extending help to, struggling country. Was that something similar done to Sierra Leone? Anything like a stimulus to help people from recovery? Do you remember anything like that took place?
I know they gave some money, but I don't know if it's a direct stimulus. But before, I think you said something, the previous speaker said something that was very, very important, that the government, because our job is to sensitize citizens for them to know the truth. Our government will come doing campaign, they will come with this public idea, this major big ideas that we're going to create jobs. But the reality is we live in the United States. Public sector jobs and private sector jobs are two different things.
Right.
Yeah. Most people get, every strong country, strong economy is based on private sector jobs, not public sectors. Yeah. Government don't have, most of this government don't have jobs. They are just looking for jobs themselves. The only thing they can do is put policies in place where people can come into the country and invest, and so they can hire their citizens. This is where we need to allow citizens, we need to let our people know that these people don't have no job for you. All we need to do, let's force them to put policies so we can come in and pay less taxes so that we can hire people. These people can pay tax to the economy and build our economies. So I think that's an idea we need to push. But this false narrative about government is going to give you a job is not going to happen. No, they don't have it. It's not there. So
let me, this is quite interesting. Talk to me a little bit to it, Mohammed, if you will, based on what you know. This sort of ideas, politicians, stakeholders, major policy players, especially within the lawmakers and even high-profile government officials, giving this sort of handout to individuals. And you just got a point right. The basic job of member of the parliament is to put policies or legislation in place that will pave the way for equal, opportunity or distributions for people to get what. Is that happening to like politicians? Okay, they're just involving individuals saying, I'm doing this. The government does not have the money, but they are giving huge amount of people. Is that what they are doing as well?
They do sometimes. They do take these ambitious programs they don't have money for. For instance, let me talk about our airport, the Lungi National Airport. Pretty soon, we are going to give this airport to a private company. They're going to spend about $270 million to renovate the entire airport, and they're going to run this airport for 25 years.
25 years.
25 years. So we're not getting any revenue from the airport for 25 years. The government came in and do all this before even went to parliament. So when we pushed them, what they did was they just went to parliament and forced their members to vote and try to push other members from the opposition, give them money or whatever, say you got to vote for this project because we need it right now, because we need infrastructure. If not, we're not going to win the next election. So, and then they came and talked about this Lungi Bridge. Lungi Bridge, at first they said it's supposed to cost $2.5 billion. Well, we're going to get $2.5 billion for in Sierra Leone for an ordinary bridge. They realized it's not going to work, so they went back. We only got 2 ferries that goes around. If $2.5 billion by 10 of the ferries. Wow. So, and then they're telling us that, okay, now we're going to have a company that's supposed to come and build the bridge, and then they will run the bridge. Yes, but how much we need to pay? Or it's about $10 in each person. How many Sierra Leoneans can afford $10 to cross the bridge?
So nobody could go down to Lungi because oh my goodness. Are you
Mr. So?
Yeah, before
I have a question for Mohammed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mohammed. Yeah, I wanted to get back to, because we are looking at things that are happening across both ends and seeing how we can learn from that.
Yes, sir.
Do you follow the West African Examination Council?
We talk about the WAEC exams.
How well did Sierra Leonean students do this year in the WAEC exam?
It was a colossal failure, but 4%. For several reasons. We realized that most Sierra Leoneans would go all the way to university without knowing how to even construct a simple English. Why? Because they were based on leakages. They were sending leakages here and there, everywhere. So we exposed that. In fact, the previous examination, we posted the papers on our website before they even went to the exam halls in the morning. So the government didn't have no choice but cancel most of these exams. So what we realized is that the exams are more advanced than our students. So Dr. Senge came in. In fact, the previous minister was fired. Minister of Education was fired because of rice scandal and all this kind of stuff.
It was immediate action taken by the government. They fired him?
Yeah, he was fired, and then for some kind of rice scandal and all that kind of stuff. And again, because of the free education, the way it unfolded was just a mess. So the new guy that came in now, he's trying to build the educational sector all the way from the ground up, which we know probably going to take about another 5 or 6 years. So at this point, this past year was 4.5% failure. And Parliament is working on that. And we're trying to see, the government is trying to hire more teachers and trying to allow kids to stay longer in schools and all this kind of stuff. But for now, it's a mess.
You mean 4.5 pass rate, right?
4.5 passing rate, 4.5%. It was a colossal.
And is it true that the Great Britain agreed to support the education system with what? Mr. Joe, what was it, 400 million? Did you say?
No. The 400 million was a Millennium Challenge Fund. But when President Bill launched the free education, the Secretary of Education from London was there and said that they want to give 10 years support to that program. You can go on the website, videos are there.
Did that failure of the student occur whilst that 10 years support was being implemented?
The money is going to be allocated gradually. It's not a one-time money they're going to give. No, they're going to allocate the money as we go. The thing is that I'm a fierce critic of the system. For me, we didn't need a free and quality education. We needed quality education, because if you knew Sierra Leone back in this, what we are top in terms of education. Fabric College, one of the best colleges in the sub-region.
Yeah.
So when we realized that our education was degraded for a long time. So what we're looking up to the government to do when they came in was to rebuild schools, build our labs, our libraries, and put some better curriculum in school. While you can use this 21% of our budget and all this money that comes into the country and try to rebuild the educational system, not to worry about the free. But they went and put the free in there because they want to win elections.
Oh my goodness.
So now
let me just say something. Professor Sava, I know where you're driving at, but let me from report from Liberia, the last WIAC, I don't know about this one, but the last WIAC, it was proving that Liberia did very well on that. And I will give the credit to the President WIAC because they recruited tutoring for the students. So let me make that clear. The government will take credit for that because President WIAC, his government recruited tutoring to organize tutoring classes for the students at the time. So they did well on that. But let me ask you, the Traore.
Yes, sir.
In Sierra Leone, do the government have libraries in Sierra Leone?
They didn't build nothing. They came in with this program to bring free education. They didn't build no new schools, no infrastructure, no libraries, no labs, no nothing. And then they used to have 2 shifts in schools. And you came in and unfold free. You don't have nothing in place. What you expect? Overflows of schools. It was a mess. They came in power in less than 6 months. They unfolded this entire project because the opposition told them, "We dare you to do it," and they went and did it. They didn't even have no money. They came out and started asking people to donate money, ask parliamentarians to give a month's salary towards free education.
To the government. They were asking
to the government to support it.
And that happens, they give it?
Oh, well, some people give and some people start crying and asking for their money back. Some people donated and then withdrew their donations. So, and then.
Are you serious, my brother? No. So.
Well, I just wanted that clarity because in Liberia, there's no, maybe in Monrovia, but there's no library by government in Liberia. Past government and present. Schools, library, right now.
So,
I don't know.
Okay. So, and this is why it's good to have this sort of conversation. So the concept here, people just jump sometimes say, you go to Ghana, everything is 100%. You go to Sierra Leone, it's bread and butter, peanut butter, jelly, it's serving the money, and everything is okay. the challenges, it seems to be everywhere, Mohammed. Professor, is this in your favor? I see you relaxing, you smiling.
Yeah.
Professor Zawa.
No, listen to me. I take no pleasure in the fact that our countries are underdeveloped. I take no pleasure that the quality of education in Liberia is wanting. It's not any better than the quality of education in Sierra Leone. In fact, for so many years, Sierra Leone has been dominant when it comes to education relative to Liberia. So I take no pleasure that in Liberia we're making baby steps progress. But all I was trying to just to get the information so that our people out there can be informed. There's always this comparison, which is good. It kind of helps to motivate other governments to perform. But it's good when it's done based on the facts. And Mr. Alberto Mohammed here today has really provided us a lot of information. And I hope, a lot of people will be listening to this show today to hear and understand what's going on. It's not in the schools. We got to improve. Look, here's one thing. I'm into the investment in education in Liberia. One of the things that drove me to investing into schools in Liberia was that whenever I have a technology-related work to do, I get it done in Bangladesh, Pakistan, or Nepal. I pay $5 on the website. I can have kids all the way in Bangladesh or Pakistan develop a logo for me, develop develop a whole lot of things related to computers or programming or desktop publishing. I can have it done for a very cheap price. Those kids are in Bangladesh, Pakistan, and different countries. They are making the money. They sell their skills globally, internationally. So I want to see Sierra Leonean kids doing the same thing. I want to see Liberian kids doing the same thing. Look, that can provide jobs for hundreds of people. If we educate our kids that they develop the skills, they can register themselves online, sit in Freetown, sit in Monrovia, and be working for people in Tokyo, in Shanghai, or any part of the world. They just live right there. They could be able to earn $200, $300, $400, $500 a month. And that's so it hurts me when our education system is in the kind of situation it's in, both in Liberia and in Sierra Leone. I just wanted to make sure our people out there were hearing it. But when it comes to Liberia, for example, Mr. George may not like to hear this one. We got a $48 million iRise grant that is going on. Under the iRise grant, when it is all said and done, 5 counties in Liberia, there will be computer labs, library set up in those schools. There'll be mobile computer labs to move all across those counties. Even the girls, to keep the girls in school. Some of them will have access to cell phone so they can stay in contact with guidance counselor who will keep them in school. iRise, improving results in secondary education. Check it out, go and read about it. The government of Dr. George Manneh Weah has already initiated that. That has been available for it's been running for the last, I think, 2 years or so. The COVID-19 kind of affected the implementation, but we have that program going on, Mr. George, $48 million.
And Professor, let me just respond to you. You say that I would not like to hear that. I think that's a little bit overstated. Because anything that benefits Liberians, anything that benefits Liberians, I'm all in for it. And I just give you credit for what the government did with the government and national extent and what they are doing. But the fact that we have to speak these things off and people we all make reference to Sierra Leone and Ghana. And the thing I tell people, do a little bit of research before you make these references. Like Ghana, the last time I checked, I think Parliament was making 3,005. They wanted to carry to 5,000, and there was an outcry. They dropped it down. Minister making 5,000, 2 cars, and made. That's what Minister makes in Ghana. So because I went I did the research and saw, because I was trying to compare Ghana economy with that of Liberia. Someone in Liberia Parliament making $15,000 at a time, $10,000. And Ghana economy make $5 better than Liberia. Why should you make that kind of money in Liberia when a jack and hardly a food to eat, a meal to eat? So these are some of the comparisons someone will make to tell our people what is happening around us. And like I stated, because I follow Freetown sometimes, sometimes. So that's why I knew about the education system, the British High Commission, and all the kind of thing. But again, the thing is, for me, I like to focus on primary education in Liberia, because that's one of the areas that will have serious challenges. Primary education. The government need to invest in those areas because that's going to build up the child. And those are some of the challenges we have in Liberia. So, but on the overall, I understand if there's such a program, I applaud the government for that because we all want to see our children improving.
Okay. Well, folks, we'll be wrapping up here, but I really, really appreciate the CEO from the Voice of Sierra Leone coming here again to have this conversation. I think it's necessary we do this. And we're going to do a lot of talking behind the scene where, you know, some of your analysts and even some of the hosts, because I watch the ladies on your program, oh my goodness, when I see them pushing, and the objectivity, the authenticity they bring to the conversation. And, you know, they don't incite themselves, but their obligation is to give their viewers and listeners the truth, to hold these people accountable. And that's what you do. They are not insulted to them, you know, but to, you know, demand answers. And that's why they are our leaders. Whether we agree with them or not, they are our leaders. When we have to give them to a quarter. And that's what we want our leaders to do. Because it favors them too. We have to proportion the news. We can't just hear it and draw a conclusion. So, with a little minute time left for us to wrap up here, do a little quick run through here. I know it will be a lot, but what are some of the basic things when you talk to your listeners, people in Sierra Leone? What are some of the things that they are crying? Hey, this is not happening. That is not happening. I know it's a huge laundry list, believe me or not. But where is their interest lies on a daily basis?
Well, like I said, the bread and butter is the number one issue. Again, I'll give the government credit in one place. They listen. They do listen to the citizens. Sometimes they do slowly, but in most cases, they will come up front and deny it, like, no, this is not going on, but behind the scene, they still do some adjustments. So that's one thing I believe. With time, if they continue doing that, it will pay dividend for them. In terms of the food and economy, I think even the banks they were trying to push it so hard because of the pressure, and that people start taking the money out of the banks. And then what the president is doing is asking every parliamentarian and minister to have a farm. You raise what you eat. So this is the next. That's the next project we have going on in Sierra Leone. We need to start raising what we eat. So everybody's supposed to have a farm. It's kind of stuff. I know for now, hunger is in, but with time, I believe if everybody has their own farms and stuff, we'll start cutting on a little bit of imports, rice and stuff like that. And then he's also trying to bring in different companies to use our raw materials like our mango, oranges, so we can produce those juice back in Sierra Leone and give people jobs at the same time, export some few stuff out and give the Leones a little bit of worth. Yes. So those stuff are going on. The education is one of the things that everybody's jumping on, but with time, we believe in the next 3, 4, 5 years, we'll get it back on track. So with 21-22% of our state budget, that's huge money, and we believe with time, like the president told us last month, they said, I'm already in it now. So you just have to be patient with me. We're gonna get it right as we go. And that's something we buy. Our citizens, we bought that stuff from him. The other thing is that we're just trying to find a way for those kids failing their exams to find something to do. Because most kids in Africa think the only way you can succeed is for you to go to university. We don't think about polytechnical institutions and other areas. So we want them to engage in those institutions now and trying to be a carpenter, AC, repair, mechanic man, and this kind of stuff, because that's what the money is. Overseas, that's where you make this money. So we're working on those things behind the scene with the government and other people and other people that support the educational system to try to push a lot of people to the institutions, polytechnical institutions, so they can learn something new. Again, we got elections coming up.
When's your election?
In 2012. That's another question, because it's supposed to be in 2023. But because of the state of emergency for this COVID, they gave the president 1 year. There's a possibility that he might push to 2024. This that doing that stuff.
Election, wait a minute, this is quite interesting. The election was scheduled for 2023, but because of the COVID, you said what? There's an extension.
Yes, Parliament gave him a state of emergency for the COVID for 1 year. So because of the state of emergency, there's a possibility they might push it back for 1 extra year because of the previous administration did the same thing during the Ebola. That's why we didn't have the election. 2 years we have elections in 2017. Election happened in 2018 because they gave him 6 months mandate. So he used that 6 months and said, because of the state of emergency, I have to make up this time. So these people are whispering the same thing around the corner right now.
Okay. So I can let you go, Mohammed. I know time is out now. We're going to wrap on here. What is the plan? Liberia, Sierra Leone, like I said, there are a lot of similarities in terms of people that are young kids, folks, young generation that were introduced to the war. They took drugs. They were not well properly demobilized. What is the plan? What is government doing to rebuild, to restructure the lives of these young generation who will be the future leader of the country? What are they doing? Any specific program that is really, bearing out fruit as far as you are concerned?
Well, we only got 2 major plans for those people: education and job. That's the only main plan you got. If you don't have neither one of these things, there's no plan in place. You can talk about all you want to talk about. If they're not educated and they don't have something to engage them, they're going to involve in drugs. So this is the reason why we're pushing the parliament to put something in place so we, the diasporans and people back home, can invest and get these guys a job. But at this point, because of the unemployment, there's not much going on at all. But most people are building houses, so you see more than in construction now. Some of you guys, and we're trying to, like I said, we are trying to do something for them to know that you don't have to go to university to be successful. You can be your own entrepreneur. So go ahead and start doing stuff on your own. Stop waiting for someone to hire you. Instead, come up with an idea to hire somebody. So that's our next campaign we're working on now, that you can be your own boss.
Okay. Well, look, Mr. Torre,
so I have a follow-up question for him, because he said that they are trying to get government to do something so that the diaspora Sierra Leoneans can invest. What do you mean by that? Can you clarify?
We want them to put a policy in place wherein the country will be suitable for investment. What are those things? Lower taxes and security. And these are the two things in it. And then you got the amenities in place: good road, electricity, faster internet, when water. If you got those things in place, your country is going to advance. So now we're putting pressure on the government to improve our roads, which they're working on right now, in water supply, electricity, and internet. If you got those things in place, everybody will be. It's easier for us to come in and invest faster.
Okay. Gentlemen, I gotta let him go, and then we just use 10 minutes to wrap up here now. So we're not going to point. We got to so that next time we can have him here. Look, Mr. Traore, I want to thank you so much. We will have this conversation behind the scene. Hopefully, sometime some of your analysts and other hosts will have them here too, because the system, we want people to make use of the technology of this Zuckerberg or all of the platform here. But some of the conversation within my own community is absurd. And, I can't find the right tune from the opposition. I can't find the right tune from the government. And everybody doing the same thing, but they profess to be the alternative to the problem, which is, of course, in reality, is not. So we try to tap in here and there to get an expertise. What can you leave with us here today? What are your final closing statement?
Well, it was a privilege being here, and thank you very much for inviting me and the guests. Thank you very much, guys. And don't be a stranger. Anytime you need me, I'll find a way to come in. If you need any of our presenters, they'll be more than willing to come in and talk. This is a process. Beside the boundaries, Africa is one home. We got the same problems, the same challenges, and we need to pick each other's brains so that we can move forward, because we want Africa to develop. And as we all know, Africa is the place to be. The 21st century Africa is the place. So I just say anytime you need me, just let me know. We'll work on it. I'll be more than willing to come in and share ideas. And I also learn from you guys as well, because we don't have monopoly of ideas. We learn from each other every day. So thank you.
Thank you so much, and we are looking forward to also have this sort of collaboration in the interest of African solidarity. We are neighbors. Sierra Leone paid a huge price for us during the civil crisis. I sought refuge in Sierra Leone, Bo, Kenema, Pujon, all of those places. I tell you, that mean place Salon, that means second home. Yeah, so yeah, all Marfa Salon, they are all brothers and sisters to me. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward us having more conversation behind the scene to enhance factual and good communication to create a sort of a conversation, hopefully with understanding our people can understand. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Okay, what folks, let's see here with the last 10 minutes for us to go here. We're gonna. I'm not sure how your guys' schedule look. I will be hosting Senator Marshall A. Dennis at 4 p.m. tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, we should be 9 o'clock local time. So let's do a quick round here. Antonin, for some reason, I know your system will going in and out. Not sure, yeah, but hopefully it will be fixed. Pa Joy, what is the most takeaway thing here from our neighbors tonight?
We have similar challenges, but the difference is the leadership. I mean, you heard him saying that, yes, the challenge, but the leadership, their leadership taking a more active role in solving the problem, contrary to Liberia. That's my takeaway.
Okay, contrary to Liberia, Professor Asese Labort Zaulo, and a new thing learned here tonight.
Well, a whole lot that the countries are undergoing the same similar challenges, and most of those challenges are not tied to subjective factors. They are due to objective factors, mostly linked to the COVID-19 and the global economic slowdown that has been occurring for even prior to the advent of the COVID-19. I like his conversation. For some reason, he and I share a lot of perspective on a whole myriad of things. The last thing he talked about, and that's what I'm just going to say and then stop. He talked about Africa. One of the biggest mistakes we make in Africa is this whole idea of putting too much emphasis on university education. Our economists cannot provide jobs for the number of students who are graduating from universities annually. University of Liberia will graduate about 1,000 students. The other university combined will graduate about another 1,000. We cannot have 2,000 jobs for 2,000 college graduates. We need to start directing our citizens to vocational and technical education, where the money is. Manufacturing, agriculture, woodwork, carpentry, masonry, electricity, and all of those things. I was one vocal critic of this whole mushrooming of community colleges all across the country. But even if we keep the nomenclature of community colleges, I think rather than having Nima Community College boasting that they will start offering degree in English and divinity, we should get them making noise about offering certificate in
skills,
logging or iron ore mining related careers, or careers that support the metal steel work that is doing, or that support the many logging agricultural activities going on in the area. So those are some of the things that I took from him that I think was very right. He's a very smart, wise gentleman, and he contributed a lot. You can tell that he's been interviewing a lot of very knowledgeable people.
Oh, you watch your program is amazing. In fact, when there are certain language, certain things you don't use, they close you up, and that's it. Okay, Anthony Gay, it's unfortunate, hopefully that is why we want to say it. Welcome to Mr. Matthew T.S. I'm watching from Nimba County, Republic of Liberia. I know there's no Nima County in the USA here that I know. So, Tiet, I thank you. Despite with the high cost of data and stuff like that to tune in, so it means something you're learning. Gabe.
Thank you. First of all, I want to apologize. I have my device somewhere. I want my daughter keep playing on the switch, but because I have a telecommunication background, I relocated my modem, so you're not going to have that problem. I solved that problem real quick. I should know, and she's going to go around, switching things around. You see, since the last time I joined, I have not gone up. So that's sort of.
I think you want to put on the professional, so you can't be.
Yeah. We need Technicraft in Liberia, just like that. But the number one thing here, we need electricity. And guess what? If we have electricity, all of the other things will fall in place. I just told you, I relocated this modem. I have a background in telecommunication, 15 years. I can do a lot of stuff. I can also have young men and women today who don't have job in Liberia to have job right in Liberia. They will be working from Liberia, but in different countries, and they get paid. Online working. Almost everybody right now is working from home. Virtual work, right? Once you have access to the electricity, everything else fall in place. That's the first and foremost thing a country needs. Reliable electricity. Unfortunately, we don't have that even in Mosurado County. You can pay for LEC today. I guarantee you cannot have 1 week of 24/7 electricity. That is our challenge. My former boss and I were trying to take something called a call center. When right now you call General Motors or you call any big corporation in America, the call get routed overseas to the Philippines, India, Vietnam, you name those countries. Liberians speak good English. That job can hire 1,000, 2,000 Liberians. All they got to do, but you cannot run a call center with a generator. Absolutely not. You got servers, data center, and servers online, and it go off 1 hour, you're going to be losing close to 500,000, if not $1 million. It's a huge business.
Right.
The other countries are benefiting from it. Liberia cannot benefit because we don't have reliable electricity. If you have reliable electricity,
that's the problem with the internet. Gambia,
if you have reliable electricity, then you can have broadband company coming to Liberia. There's some can network with other companies that have devices like the company I work for. I will not call a name here because I'm prohibited to do so. And we give away stuff. Every 5 to 10 years, they do upgrades, and other devices, they give it to other countries. I can ship those things to Liberia that are going to be part of it. It have no work to do. Okay. So we need, number one and foremost, Professor Zagulu, if you have the ear of the government, please, if they will do any form of development in Liberia, infrastructure-wise, electricity, number one. Once you have number one electricity, company will flux to Liberia because nobody can survive on a generator. First of all, a generator is not safe for you and I because when you pick up a generator, look on the side of the generator. It says an emergency source of power only or an emergency source of power to be used. It posts out something called carbon monoxide, which is a deadly weapon. It kills you easily. So imagine 10,000 homes in Monrovia running generator at the same time. The air is polluted. So generator is not safe.
Okay. This is what so young men, not just a politician, but tech politicians, if I can manufacture that word. We're going to be going to a lot of things here. But gentlemen, time has caught up with us here. We're going to be back here for those of you that will be available 4 o'clock. I will be hosting Senator Marsha A. Dennis of Grand Gila County here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Someone asking yet, how can I make my contribution? I don't know which one you're talking about, Facebook user. I don't know even the identity. So I don't know whether to be a contributor here or analyst on LPR, whatever the case. Let us know, establish your identity so that we can communicate, we can do it. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much this Sunday evening for taking off your time. I think it was a very fascinating conversation. They have a lot of analysts, lawyers, a lot of professionals. I will try to bring them here because I'm getting sick and tired with this sort of conversation within our community that people are not, they yet to be civil in conversation to convince people and all of that. But again, it just comes back to our own country, the world way. But we have to fight it out. These are some of the challenges that we are facing. Because if we don't do it, believe me or not, it's going to get worse than what we think about. Guys, I want to thank you so much for your time this evening. Have a pleasant evening.
Try to come on. I'll try to come on at 4 tomorrow. See what I can make.
Yeah, I'll be on at 4. I have nothing doing tomorrow. I'm available.
All right.
The internet issue solved now, right?
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Okay, this is how we're going to leave it this evening. All right, folks, every good thing must come to an end. To all our all-learners, I tweet your comments. This is what we do here at Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. For those of you who have not had a chance to follow the Voice of Sierra Leone, it's on the Facebook. Just search in the Angel, the Voice of Sierra Leone, and listen to the kind of conversation that these people have. You have people from the opposition, from the government, from the civil society, different backgrounds. But believe me or not, their conversations is well seasoned, is civilized, is contained, the mutual respect. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. But it's unfortunate what we see nowadays, because that's the only way your message will represent will resonate. And if you want people to understand you, then you have to do what is right. Well, folks, time has catch up with me here this evening. It's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. By God's willing, same time, same stations. I will be here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be hosting Senator Marshall A. Dennis, Senator of Grangeda County, Republic of Liberia, who is also with the ruling establishment. But what is going on? And that's what we need to do, to reach out to our leaders, whether we agree or disagree with them, to have this sort of conversation with the hope of us holding them accountable. Thank you so much, and have a pleasant evening. Taking it to Nima County this morning, evening hour here from the East Coast. I'm going to join Mr. James Tiet to join him in Nima County this evening. That's Princess Minister Jemimah Walker there, a traditional gospel singer, keeping the culture, the traditions of the country in place. All right. Well, Minister Walker, thank you for your contribution here this evening. Is this Mr. Gibson Jeru? My man, they're not Gibson Jeru here. This is, the knee is there, my knee is there. So why would you say this Gibson Jeru? They're not Gibson Jeru here. But Facebook user, you're talking about to be a contributor. How can I make my contribution? just let us know. You go to our Facebook Messenger page, or you send a message here. You find the Alfonso Zienso or LIB Messenger, and send out your message. And to all of you folks, there are a lot of issues affecting our country, social issues as well. Let us know, and we can find a conversation here. If you're a professional, we are looking for a ladies contributor as well to be an analyst. This station here, Voice of Sierra Leone, they have ladies who are hosts of a program committed to the process, and that's another way of finding solution to your problem. The conversations, the talking point. You don't necessarily have to be a journalist. If we need pressure, we can help. So we want some ladies, young or it doesn't matter, who willing to make the sacrifice. We can bring them to be a contributor. You can be for whatever party, that's fine. We have Professor Zawo for CDC, Anthony Gay, who just joined us, is an ANC. George, where his name is George, he's an independent. We have the Liberal Progressive, who is not here tonight, is a Liberty Party man who is based here in the USA, and so forth, so on. If you have no positions, let us know. We will bring you here as long as you are willing for us to have those issues, to talk those things. Whatever position these people are making is not an official position of the parties or institutions that they represent. But that's another way of pushing the agenda of their party. Until then, folks, every good thing must come to an end. It's a little 5 minutes after 10 Eastern Standard Time. I'm Alfonso Zain, so have a pleasant evening, and I will see you here. This is the memorable picture or image when President George Weah enjoyed Howard Taylor when the announcement was made in Liberia. That was then, but why now? Why the politics, why the understanding is now within our political leaders or people that are leading the country? What went wrong? Who is not connecting? Who is not relating? How this happened? These are questions we kept pondering to find answers. And so the only way we can get an answer is for us to have a civilized, understandable conversations whereby we can listen to their side of the stories and you can make a judgment. Until then, I'm Alfonso Zienso. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Anything where they make you go high, baby, I go put on a picture. Anything where they make you wind up, baby, put on a picture. Anything where they make you go high, baby, I go put on a picture. Go down, low. Baby, me I see you on the telescope. Go down, low. Let me see you do the telescope. Go down, low. Baby, me I see you on the telescope. Go down, low. Let me see you do the telescope. Body and I can do like not a photo. Sure. Girl, I see the wine you there and do the right on the leg too. So, baby, you know me money you let, baby, can't show up. For the weekend, we did Dubai, and then I'm chilling. So, baby, this your body motion, taking me so high. Girl, me not tell no lie, like your body lotion, I'm flying you, why? All over your body, oh, pop something, girl, it's so high. Not only one man, they die, money no matter, we play for because it's not a party for love letter. Anything where they make you wind love, baby. Put on a picture. Anything where they make you go high. Baby, I can put on a picture. Anything where they make you wind love, baby. Put on a picture. Anything where they make you go high. Baby, I can put on a picture. down, go down, go down low. Baby, me and see you on the telly, go down, go down, go down low. Let me see you do the telly, go down, go down, go down low. Baby, me and see you on the telly, go down, go down, go down low. Let me see you do the telly, move it, spontaneous, make it, you are dangerous, move it, continuous, like pull it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Hopefully, you can join us. Let us do it for Liberia in the interest of the country, so that our country can be, what it should be like. Opposition, government, everybody, everyone must be held accountable. Even to we as ordinary citizens, what we say, what we do, our utterances, what we put out there, our conversation, we must also be held accountable. We are not exempted. You don't have to be a party leader. You don't have to be in government before you can hold you accountable. No. Ordinary citizens, you have an obligation. You have a fair share. Your actions, your talk, your conversation, it does have a propensity to degenerate our country into chaos. And so all of us must be held accountable. But unfortunately, our direction has been focused on government, politicians, stakeholders. But we have very dishonest people. People crook one another here for little or nothing. And this is how it gives bribe. And later on, it translates into national government. And it becomes a problem. So we all, no one is exempted from this. We must all be held accountable of our action. That's what makes a human being. No one is exempted. If I come out here and say things that are not true and accuse people without, really getting to the facts or without giving the person the opportunity to explain themselves, I'm spreading to innuendos, falsehood, fake news, and the list goes on and on. So we must all be held. We must all be held accountable to what we are doing. I showed my mic a little bit up, but hey, it is what it is. We must be held accountable. What we say, what we do, and by our action is not on the government. Thank you so much, and have a pleasant evening. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Have you heard the news? Well,